welcome to a new video. I didn't post last week, as you saw, but my excuse was I was in Maui, so I just couldn't get around to it. And then the vlog, there's too much footage, so I haven't even gotten any of that together. So this week we are going to talk about all the books that I read in 2021. My goal that I set was for 30, but I just, life happens, and I read 23 books, which is literally not even bad. So, I'm kind of proud of myself for just pushing myself for trying to read 30 books. And you know what? My goal for next year is going to be 40. We're just going to get into it. I kind of read half on my Kindle and half I have physical books. Okay, I read 23 books, so I'm just gonna go through most of them, go through them. Oh, I didn't read this. Okay, 22. I'm at 22 books. I thought I was at 23. That's okay. So the first book I read, it looks like, is called Between the World and Me by Ta-Nehisi Coates, and that one was a really cute, good book. I mean, not cute, but good book. It was about this guy writing a love letter to his son, basically. This black man writing a love letter to his son. It's very beautiful, very beautifully written, and it's a very good read. So I gave that one a 5-star rating on Goodreads, and it was really good. I really deserved it. It was beautiful. The next book I have on here is The Guest List by Lucy Foley, and I just didn't like it. The book was fine, and then I got to the ending and I just didn't like it, so I gave that one 3 stars. It was just predictable, didn't really care for the ending, didn't really care for the route that it went, and it wasn't my favorite. So girl, just not your best work in my opinion. And all of this is just my opinion. So the next book I read is called The Deep by Rivers Solomon, book number 3. I'm going to try to keep track number-wise. But the book is called The Deep by Rivers Solomon. It's based on a song by David Diggs called The Deep, and it's literally such a tragic myth, and it's very beautifully written. I really enjoyed it. I really didn't like the ending. I also kind of wanted more from it. It was very just skim the surface, but I mean, the myth is about the impregnated women on the slave ship boats that were thrown overboard, that the legend goes that they had birthed these babies, and these babies kind of transformed into little mermaid babies. And that's kind of what this story is about, that society of little mermaid babies, in that history. That each generation has a historian, and each historian carries all the history of these mer people. I can't remember what they're called in the book, but it's really good. It's really deep. I really liked it. The deep, I get it. And they live in the deep part of the ocean, that part where they don't have any light or whatever. Very beautiful myth. I didn't know anything about it before I read the book, so it's very good. The next book, Homegoing by Yaa Gyasi, book number 4. Homegoing by Yaa Gyasi. Y'all, when I tell you this book is freaking amazing, I just loved it. The story was so good, the ending was so good, and just with the other book, the Guest List, endings make it or break it for me. And so when it has a bad ending, it kind of cuts the whole book for me. But this one just had such a good ending. Everything came full circle for me, and such a good story. It's about this woman who gives birth to these 2 girls, and I can't remember what happened to the mom, but whatever. She's out of the picture. One goes to this tribe in Africa and stays in Africa and becomes royalty, and the other one gets sold into the slave trade and gets sent off into America. And the story just follows both of these women down their lineage, and following a couple of generations. And I just love generational family fiction books. I just family generational dramas are just so good to me, and this one just did not disappoint. I gave this one 5 stars. So good. The next book, book number 5, I actually have this one. It's called The Mountains Sing by even though I'm Vietnamese, my Vietnamese is just horrible, but Nguyen Phan K, and this book, maybe I'm just biased too because I'm Vietnamese, and it just like taught me, it just like gave me so much insight into like what my family went through. This book follows, it's another family generational novel. It follows this North Vietnamese family through the Vietnam War, the beginning of it, the middle of it, the end of it, and wow, it just so moving. It made me cry like 4 times. Oh my god, if you just want to just like know a little more about just like the Vietnam War and just what a North Vietnamese family went through, 5 stars for sure. I would totally reread that. That's in the reread pile. Next book is number 6, called Know My Name by Chanel Miller, and another just like amazing book, so powerful, so amazing. If you don't know, Chanel Miller is the girl that was sexually assaulted by Brock Turner, that don't even want to speak his name, but she wrote this book and it's called Know My Name, and her name is Chanel Miller, and it's literally so powerful. She kind of takes her name back, what sexual assault victims have to go through, and the justice system just sucks. Oh, so good. Definitely a must read. Powerful. That's all I gotta say. Book number 7. Next book is a book by James Nestor called Breath, and it's the new science of a lost art, and it really just goes into breath work. This guy James Nestor does research on breath work for like a decade. It was a fine book. It's a book more based on personal experiences instead of like science. It's not like a science-based book, but he does a lot of research and just like a lot of like stories on like breath work and stuff. But it's a good read. It's interesting. Makes me think a lot more about just like my breath and breathing and how many health benefits it does have, just to like be aware of it, you know? Good read. The next book I also have, it is Americanah by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie, and this book was really good, really great story, loved it. Oh my god, just like another one of those powerful books and a really great story. It follows these two young couple from like Nigeria. I just like butcher these names. I just like can't. If anyone help me. Abinze. I don't know. It's about this couple, and they grow up with this idea of America, and one of them goes to America and one of them kind of stays in Nigeria, and like, yeah, it's a very good read, very good story. I don't want to give anything away, but you should go read it. It's very good. Classic. Another 5-star rating for me. Next. Oh my god. Next book. Book number 9. Book number 9 is kind of like a psychological thriller. It is The Silent Patient by Alex Michaelides, and I loved this book. I don't know why. It just like was so intriguing. The premise: this lady commits a crime, a murder, and then she doesn't talk. After she commits it, she just goes silent, which is so intriguing, and the plot twist at the end just like was so good to me. It really drew me in, and I really liked it. So I would give this a 4.5. I really enjoyed it. I finished it in like a day. The next book, book 10. So book 10, I signed up for this like email subscription giving me discount deals on Kindle books, because you know, like books be expensive and stuff. It's called like a BookBub or something, and also there's like a Amazon one too, like a Kindle deals one where it gives you daily deals and stuff, just like discounts on like books. And I got this book off of one of those emails, and I've seen it before, I just like didn't really know too much about it. It's called Long Bright River by Liz Moore, and I read this one really quickly. It's a very good book. It's about like this cop and like her missing sister, and she tries to like, it has a lot of like about drug addiction in it, so if it gives you a lot of trigger warnings, don't read it. But the thing about this book was like the main character to me was so annoying. Like she like irked me so much. I don't know why. She just like had this moral complex I just like could not get over. I just thought she was just so annoying. Her name was Mickey or something, and ugh. But that just attests to the author's writing, because she just wrote a character that just really annoyed me. But it was really good. I really liked it. I finished it in a day. Yeah, very good. Next book. The next book that I read literally all kinds of books, which is so fun for me. It's called Attached, The New Science of Adult Attachment and How It Can Help You Find and Keep Love. This one I was supposed to read with two of my friends. My friend Erica sent this to me and my friend Nicole, and I bought it like the day of. Like the day she sent it to me, I bought it. And honestly, I don't know if they read it. I don't think they did. Maybe Erica did, but I can't remember. I read it like that week and I thought it was so good. I found it so intriguing, just like breaking up attachment into like these three categories, and it really is like you really do fall into one of these three categories, like attached, unattached, and secure. And like you really do fall into one of these three categories in most of your relationships, and I just really found it interesting. I love books like these where you really get to learn more about yourself. Like I don't like to put myself in boxes, but I do like to learn more about like how I connect with people, and like how I am like communicating in my relationships. And I just think it builds a better me. Anything that can help me just learn and grow, I'm just all for. That book was by Amir, Levine, and Rachel S.F. Heller. Don't think I said that. I gave this one 5 stars. I really liked it. I really enjoyed it. Next book. I also have this one, but I'm like kind of upset about it. Because look, I left it in the rain on my birthday. I left it outside and it started raining. But it's John Green's book, The Anthropocene Reviewed. And this book is basically just like a review on just like human impact. It's like the age of like human impact. That's about it. And he writes just like a bunch of he writes multiple essays about multiple things that humans have an impact on, and it's just like so good. Next book I also have. It's called Infinite Country by Patricia Engel. This book I really liked too. It's a very quick read, and it really just speaks a lot about undocumented immigrants. It's about this undocumented immigrant family, and the husband gets deported and the mom stays because she wants a better life, even though it's so hard for undocumented immigrants over in the States, and like away from like their home. And that so they have like 3 kids. 2 of the older ones who are also undocumented stay with the mom, and the one who was born in the US, she went with dad, so just because like she could come back. And so it's like the separated family, and it's very good read, very heartbreaking, but also so good. Just like knowing what these families go through, heartbreaking. That's a good solid 4. Next book, I think this is 14. Book 14. It's called Minor Feelings by Cathy Park Hong, an Asian American reckoning. I should like think I'm an Asian American. I should honestly have more opinions about this, but I really don't. I honestly forgot most of what she said. I feel like her point just like got lost in her gibberish. Book 15. This one is called Convenience Store Woman by Sakura Murata. Look how cute. My friend Nicole got this one for me because it was in my Goodreads want to read, and she got it for me. And this one's also very cute, quick read. I loved this one. I love the message of this one. It's about this girl that works in a convenience store, and I think she has autism. I think she's on the spectrum. And in Japan, like Asian pressures are just so intense, and so she was getting pressures to like get married and like find a better job, because that like working at a convenience store isn't like a suitable job for like a woman. And like she gets all these pressures, but in the end like she just wants to work in a convenience store. Like that's just what makes her happy. That's like the life that she wants to live, and people won't leave her alone. And it's just like, oh my god, it just makes you think that just like there's no right way to live life, and the way you want to live life is the right way, That's what I think. And it's very cute and just like a good reminder to just live the way you want to live. It'll make you happy. The next book, This next book is 16, and it is the family generational novels of all family generational novels. It is East of Eden by John Steinbeck, and it follows the Trask family and the Hamilton family, and just loved it. Very good book, so good. Love the ending, love the story. So many different stories in it, like so many biblical references, so many just lessons. Very good. Just loved it. Loved Adam Trask. He was just, he had just a man of wisdom, you know. I loved it. Of course I did. I love family generational novels. It's just my favorite. The next book, I also have, but I didn't really care for it, so I don't really want to go get it. It's in my other room just because it's not with all my other books that I liked this year. It's called The Midnight Library, and I saw it in an airport, and I was like, Claudia, we should read this. My friend who like loves to read with me. And I read it, and I just like thought it was so cheesy. I just like didn't care for it. This girl falls victim to suicide, and she like, but doesn't like, she goes into this like midnight library when she does, and sees all these other lives that were possible for her to live. And I don't know, it was just like so cheesy, and I just like didn't care for it. 3 stars. Next book, when I did care for it, Colleen Hoover, November 9th. This book was so good. I just really liked it. My friend Claudia was like, read it, you should read it, you should read it. And I was like, fine, I'll read it. And it was so good. Really loved it. It's about this girl Phan and this guy named Ben, and they meet, and like they're just both not ready for a relationship, like, but they really like each other. And in the end they're like, okay, maybe in 5 years I'll be ready, so like let's meet every day or every year on this date for the next 5 years and then see where we're at. And so they meet on November 9th, and it just, the twist at the end, and oh, so good. Must read. Very quick read. Read it in a day. I read so many books. I need to go faster. Okay, next book. Can't even remember. 17, 18. The Woman Destroyed. Simone de Beauvoir. 3 women, 3 stories, 3 things happened to them that, like, 3 traumatic things happened to them in their lives, and it just follows them. I loved it. I thought it was so good. I usually don't like things with like open endings like this book. It kind of like left an open ending from each story, but I don't know, very intrigued by each of these ladies. Very good. Give it 4 stars. Next book, The Undocumented Immigrants. I think it's book 18. Kayla Benejo Villa Ciento. Also loved this book. Another 5 stars for me. Undocumented Americans. This book was so heartfelt, like pulled at my heartstrings. It's about this girl who grew up as an undocumented American, and like her struggles that she had growing up, and like the mental struggles that she had. And then she interviews a bunch of other undocumented Americans, and it's just heartbreaking. Their stories just like really just like pulled at my heartstrings. I thought it was so good. All right, we're coming to an end. We have like the last 3. Okay, Verity by Colleen Hoover. This one was very good. My friend Claudia loved it, but I just like didn't love it as much as she did. But I still liked it. And this one was really good. It's about like this small time author, and then she gets like this opportunity from a big time author, even though the big time author is in like a coma. And so she like goes and stays there, and like she like tries to co-write this book based on like what this other author has, but like falls in love with her husband. Oh my god. The twist at the end was like, for me, it was like kind of predictable. I don't know. I liked it still. It was a very good book. Very good writing. Colleen Hoover just like knows how to write books, you know? Next book, Darren Greatly by Brene Brown. How the courage to be vulnerable transforms the way we live, love, parent, and lead. This is a good book to end on because I just think that being vulnerable really just opens up to having genuine relationships, genuine interactions and connections, and I think it just makes your life more meaningful when you're being vulnerable. I don't think it's being strong when you're like putting on a brave face or faking it, or like that's strong to do, but like you're not putting on a brave face for anyone. Being vulnerable and like putting yourself out there and all of that, I just think it's so much more powerful, you know? So that's honestly what this book is about. Like the Darren Greatly is being vulnerable. Like that's Darren Greatly. It really is like so important, I think. We live better, like even like this title says, we live better, love better, parent better, and lead better if we're just more vulnerable. And I think that's so true. So I think those are all of the books that I read in 2021. Yep, that's everything on here. It looks like if you made it this far, thanks for listening. I want to know what books you enjoyed last year and what books you read. I think my top 3 for last year, let's see, top 3. Homegoing by Yaa Gyasi. I'm gonna say November 9th. And then, oh my god, I'm gonna do The Mountain Sing. Yeah, those are gonna be my top 3. Oh my god, okay. If I'm gonna do top 4, I'm also gonna throw East of Eden in there, just because I loved that book so much. It was so good. The book I'm reading right now, if y'all literally care, the book I'm reading right now is Malibu Rising by our girl Taylor Jenkins Reid. She writes the best shit. One of my favorite books is also The Seven Husbands and Daisy Jones. I just, those 2 books, love them. Also, this is the lineup for my next couple books. So if you want to read with me, follow me on Instagram. Follow me, you know, like, subscribe, and do all of that fun stuff. And I'll see y'all next week. I'm gonna be better. I'm gonna be on a schedule, I promise. Okay, bye.